What's up, y'all? This is AJ Moore. I get a lot of questions about how I tie my jigs. A lot of times I'm fishing and people see how my rig is. They say, oh, that's pretty cool. You got 2 jigs on 1 pole. I got some friends that don't know how to tie it. So one more again, I'm gonna tie this up for y'all. So I got a 6-pound test here. I got a 1/16 and I got a 1/32. What I like to do, my top jig, I like to put the 1/32. I like to put the smaller jig on top because I feel like it gives it more action. I know this jig is pretty beat up, but it still does the job. So I do a regular fisherman's knot, stick it through twice, and then I spin that joker about 7 times. And then you go ahead and stick that back through. And what should happen is when you hold this and pull your line, it should go just like that. See that? That's tied. So from here, I'll cut about this much line. This is my jig, I cut about this much. I set this to the side. That's my second jig. This is gonna be the jig on the bottom, the heaviest one. So while this one's being still on the bottom, the one on top, because it's light, is gonna have a little bit more action than this one. The same fisherman's knot. I pretty much tie this on every pole. Even when I go saltwater, I do a fisherman's knot. Same knot. Go ahead and toss that through and bow. See that? Cut your access off. Don't use your teeth. Because growing up, I done cut lines with my teeth, and that's the reason I got chipped teeth now, to this day. Not from cavities, not from getting knocked out, from fishing. Chipped my tooth. Alright. So, me personally, I like to have at least a foot in between the first and second jig. Some people like to go wider. I also see people fishing this close. This is my dad like to do. My dad like to fish like this close with his jig. I don't like that. The whole purpose of this is to cover 2 water columns. So if you have a speck down here and a speck up here, you can hit either one. It depends on how deep you fish. So I like to make it about a foot apart. So up here, I got my 2 lines together. And this is the tricky part. I guess this is the part that everybody don't know how to do. So I tie a simple knot, loop knot. That's it, right here, a simple loop knot, and I pull it through. And I pull the second jig through. Hope y'all can see this. See, I pulled it through. Now all I gotta do is pull this. See that? Now I got me a knot. Right? It's not done yet. I got my knot, I got my 2 jigs hanging. Oh wait. I got my 2 jigs hanging. So that knot I just tied up here, this is the easy part. I just get the access line that's left, and I do about 3 regular knots. I don't pull it tight yet. I got it loose. I got it loose. I can do that about 3 times, maybe 4 times. Let's do it one more time. On this 4th time, that's when I go ahead and tighten it up. See that? Not going nowhere. Cut that access off. Now, you got your 2 rig system, 2 jig system. You see how that top jig is just dangling? See that? That's how I like my jig to be. 2 jig system. A lot of people just use 1 jig. I like to use 2. I call this the Florida rig. So checking out. AJ Moore wanted to show y'all, give y'all a few tips of how to tie the crappie jig Florida style. And leave any comments if you want me to do anything else y'all want to learn about. I'm going fishing. I'll holler at y'all later.